This is your well-rested host, Eddie Muller, welcoming you back to Noir Alley, that detour off the cinematic highway where nothing ever goes according to plan. We emerged from our 2-month hiatus with a rarity on the resume of a director who, in my opinion, was Hollywood's finest maker of film noir, Robert Siodmak. It's The File on Thelma Jordon, released in 1949 by Paramount Pictures. The great Barbara Stanwyck stars in a film tailored expressly for her by producer Hal Wallace. They'd scored a big hit the previous year with Sorry, Wrong Number, and Wallace was hoping to catch lightning in a bottle again, this time by having Stanwyck directed by the guy who'd made some of the best crime and suspense pictures of the 40s, Robert Siodmak. Things like Phantom Lady, The Killers, and Cry of the City. This film recalls a couple of earlier noirs, Double Indemnity and The Strange Love of Martha Ivers, movies that set Stanwyck on course to become the queen of noir. Once again, she plays a strong, ruthless, morally compromised woman. When Thelma entices married Assistant DA Cleve Marshall, played by Wendell Corey, into an illicit affair, does she have something even more sinister up her sleeve? It's notable that in Robert Siodmak films, the protagonists are often women, as is the case with Phantom Lady, Christmas Holiday, The Dark Mirror, and Thelma Jordon. Fully developed female characters are also featured in his other noirs, The Suspect, The Strange Affair of Uncle Harry, The Spiral Staircase, and Crisscross. So it's no surprise that Thelma Jordon's story is the work of two women. The story is by Marty Holland, a one-time secretary at 20th Century Fox, whose first published novel was made into the 1945 noir Fallen Angel. Mary Holland chose to sign her work as Marty, figuring a man's name might increase her chances for success. Thelma Jordon's screenplay is by Catherine Hartley, a former journalist who started her Hollywood career writing the original story for 1941's Hold Back the Dawn. She did not share in the resulting Oscar nomination that Billy Wilder and Charles Brackett earned for Best Screenplay. Under the name Ketty Frings, Hartley wrote the stories or final scripts for a dozen or so films in the 40s before turning to playwriting in the 1950s, culminating in the 1958 Pulitzer Prize for her Broadway adaptation of Thomas Wolfe's Look Homeward, Angel. I figure a Pulitzer Prize more than makes up for an Oscar snub. Holland and Frings refocus a fairly common noir plot to make The File on Thelma Jordon decidedly different than your straight-ahead murder mystery. While there are signature elements of a typical film noir, a love affair, a murder and its cover-up, double crosses and betrayals, it's also something of a meditation on love and marriage. By this point in his Hollywood career, Robert Siodmak had pretty much perfected the plot-heavy, visually stylish crime film. With Thelma Jordon, he slows things down a bit, focusing as much on the characters' relationships as he does on the story's criminal elements. Of course, director of photography George Barnes brings a sufficiently shadowy look to the proceedings, so I have no hesitation calling this the final full-fledged noir in Robert Siodmak's exceptional Hollywood filmography. Wendell Corey was a Hal Wallace discovery. Since his 1947 debut in Desert Fury, had become one of the busiest actors in the business. This was the first time he'd play a leading man, albeit one flawed in the finest and most feudal noir tradition. The film also features a wonderful cast of supporting players, including Paul Kelly, Joan Tetzel, Stanley Ridges, Barry Kelly, and Richard Rober. From one of the preeminent producers of film noir, directed by the genre's greatest stylist, and starring its most formidable actress, here is The File on Thelma Jordon.